Okay, welcome back everybody on Hump Day. And this is a good day to just basically, we're going to go over in Appendix 26, which we went through 25 yesterday. Was it 25? No, we went through 23 yesterday. And we're going to go through 25 today. So it just adds more to the study, and it really, it has some very good types of places where you can look in the Bible itself to look at where all these happen. Hi, Melody, and whoever else is in here. Let's wait a little bit. I don't know if you guys... Oh, hold on, Stacy. Okay. Stacy's gonna be the moderator. Sometimes we get some weird people in here, and she is very experienced. So I really want to just kind of start out with this post. You guys have probably heard about it or whatever, but it came from the Jerusalem Post, and this was yesterday. And it says, former Israeli space security chief says aliens exist, humanity not ready. I think that, I know that the worst of the worst were put into chains, these fallen angels, and Satan himself wasn't chained up until Christ commanded him to be in chains when he was here. So are these really able to come down? I mean, it would make a lot of sense, and playing with genetics and stuff. But anyway, it goes, this galactic federation has supposedly been in contact with Israel and the US for years, but are keeping themselves a secret to prevent hysteria until humanity is ready. I think that's a bunch of bull. I think that everybody's ready, and they're getting pretty upset because people are getting abducted. You see all these strange things like Bigfoot, and these witnesses are being gaslit, and it's all by design. This is how the CIA set everything up. Well, if you start talking about this, you're a conspiracy theorist. And before they had set that up, it was actually a good thing, not, sniffing out conspiracies and stuff. And that's what kept really the government in check. But now everybody's a conspiracy theorist, if you tell the truth. And, there are like conspiracy theorists out there that are way, way out there. But if you have documented truth and stuff like that, why would it be? And even when you find the truth, especially what's going on in this election, oh, it's just a conspiracy. Well, maybe it was a conspiracy on the left part to cheat and steal their way through the election, Let's see. I mind for knowledge. Abduction is against the will, therefore evil. Yes, and it's horrible. I mean, I've had my own experience. I wasn't actually like abducted, but they wanted to abduct me, and me and my sister, it's like, I know these things exist, and the men in black. I think people would be happy to hear this final truth. And I think people will be mad at the fact that they covered it up for so long. But here it goes. Has the state of Israel made contact with aliens? According to retired Israeli general and current professor Hayam Eshed, the answer is yes, but this has been kept a secret because humanity isn't ready. Okay. Speaking in an interview to Yedat Aharonot Eshed, who served as the head of Israeli space security program for nearly 30 years and is a three-time recipient of the Israel Security Award, explained that Israel and the U.S. have both been dealing with aliens for years. I'd say for decades. You know, Eisenhower. And this is by no means refers to immigrants, with Eshed clarifying the existence of a galactic federation. And I've heard that before. I just really didn't know what it meant. But, oh, that's my spot. But, you know, it's so wrong to keep this from people. The 87-year-old former space security chief gave further descriptions about exactly what sort of agreements have been made between the aliens and the U.S., which ostensibly have been made because they wish to research and understand the fabric of the universe. This cooperation includes a secret underground base on Mars. That maybe this is why we're so interested in it now, and the new Space Force that Trump put in, where there are American and alien representatives. If true, this would coincide with U.S. President Donald Trump's creation of the Space Force as the fifth branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, though it is unclear how long this sort of relationship, if any, has been going on between the U.S. and its reported extraterrestrial allies. But Eshed insists that Trump is aware of them and that he was on the verge of disclosing their existence. However, the Galactic Federation reportedly stopped him from doing so, saying they wished to prevent mass hysteria since they felt humanity needed to evolve and reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. I think we all know there's so many reported sites, and it was in like the 50s when like a band of them were all around the White House. There's pictures of it, and you know, but they gaslight people and they make people feel crazy when they talk about it. But you know, stand up. I'm not going to feel crazy about my experience. It's like, no, this happened and you're not going to gaslight me, and I don't care what you think. Anyway, as for why he's chosen to reveal this information now, Eshed explained that the timing was simply due to how much the academic landscape has changed and how respected he is in academia. If I had come up with what I've seen today 5 years ago, I would have been hospitalized, he explained to Yadat. He added that today they're already talking differently. I have nothing to lose. I've received my degrees and awards. I am respected in universities abroad, where the trend is also changing. Eshed provided more information in his newest book. It's called The Universe Beyond the Horizon, Conversations with Professor Ham Eshed, along with other details such as how aliens have prevented nuclear apocalypse and when we can jump in and visit the Men in Black. The book is available now for NIS 98. I don't know what that means. While it isn't clear if any evidence exists that could support Eshed's claim, they did come just ahead of a recent announcement of Space IL, the group behind Israel's failed attempt to land a spacecraft on the moon in 2019. Okay, uploaded to social media with the text, "Ready to get excited again?" The announcement contained a 15-second video of the moon with text saying "back to the moon," followed by the date of December 9th, 2020. And isn't this interesting, because I think this article came out like on the 8th. It's almost a full year. It is likely that this is a follow-up of the Bereshit spacecraft, which crashed after engineers lost contact with it just minutes before it was due to land. However, the follow-up project titled Bereshit 2 is expected to take 3 years to be ready. So, and that's the last of that. And I will post this on the when I get off here, and then I'll post it so you can get that too. But I'm telling you, things are changing fast. Hi, Judith. See who's all here. Hi, M Kids. DQ Trata is so. I don't know if you can get a translator. If you get maybe underneath the video, there's like transcripts that you might be able to translate from Spanish into English, but it'll just be a script. I don't know if that'll help you. And I don't know if you can do that on live shows, but okay, so that was the weirdness, and it goes right along with what we're talking about. We went into, we'll just go over Genesis 6 real quick, or what we went over yesterday. Okay, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them. And these are the Adamites. These are from Adam and Eve. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, all of which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that. So there was that second influx. When the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old and of renown. So you get the so-called mythologies. How much truth is in there? It is related from men. God, the Bible is more inspired by the Holy Spirit and God. But how could you possibly think of something like that if, because nothing is new under the sun. So, and if you go over to Mud Fossil University, it's a YouTube channel. He talks about all this stuff. It is the weirdest stuff, but it just really kind of opens your mind to that sort of stuff. Is like, you can kind of relate. He says like mountains and stuff like that were like giants laying down on the side and things like that. I don't know, but it looks like it. And he's had this stuff tested, and it has human DNA. So I'll just say, we aren't taught. We aren't told the truth. So we're left to digging it out and basically just having the Holy Spirit leading us to the truth. Say hi to everybody again. And then I'm going over to appendix 25. And that's in the back of the Companion Bible. And what I'll do too with the Companion, I'll put that link into, so, but I didn't do that before, so I will do that. Hi, O Yeller. I'm a flat earther. I don't know about all this stuff. Might be a distraction from the real truth. I don't know. I don't think so. This is something that is coming back. The fallen angels are coming back. They may not have the prodigy, but who knows? I mean, Joshua didn't get rid of all of them. He let some of them go, and they went to other countries, and they could still be alive. So, the Nephilim, or giants of Genesis 6. The progeny of the fallen angels with the daughters of Adam, see note on Genesis 6 and 23, are called in Genesis Nephilim, which means fallen ones, from Nephal, to fall. Now, some people teach and say that this is the fallen angels, that's what they were called, the Nephilim, and the Geber were the giants. But this is kind of back and forth, so you have to make up your own mind. What these beings were can be gathered only from Scripture. They were evidently great in size as well as great in wickedness. They were superhuman, abnormal beings, and their destruction was necessary for the preservation of the human race and for the faithfulness of Yahweh's word in Genesis 3:15. This was why the flood was brought upon the world of the ungodly. 2 Peter 2:5 is prophesied by Enoch, Jude 14. And we just went over Peter, so this is really a good time to go over this too. But we read of the Nephilim again in Numbers 13:33. There we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, which come of the Nephilim. How, it may be asked, could this be if they were all destroyed in the flood? The answer is contained in Genesis 6:4, where we read, there were Nephilim in the earth in those days, i.e. in the days of Noah, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became the mighty men. In Hebrew, it's Geber, the heroes which were of old, men of renown, literally men of the name, i.e. who got a name and were renowned for their ungodliness. So, you get the clash of the titans and all these things, and these huge bones being dug up and kind of swept away where we never see them. But there's a lot of articles and things like that are on the internet that have been posted onto these, so you can do a deeper research, where in America lots of bones have been discovered and dug up. So that after, i.e. after the flood, there was a second eruption of those fallen angels, evidently smaller in number and more limited in area, for they were, for the most part, confined to Canaan, and were in fact known as the nations of the Canaanites. It was for the destruction of these that the sword of Israel was necessary, as the flood had been before. As to the date of this second eruption, it was evidently soon after it became known that the seed was to come through Abraham. So that is what sparked it up. Their main thing was to prevent the seed line in getting Christ born. So they were really looking at that seed line, and when they found out, we got to watch that. For when he came out from Haran in Genesis 12:6 and entered Canaan, the significant fact is stated: the Canaanite was then already in the land, and in Genesis 14:5 they were already known as Rephaim and Emim, and had established themselves at Ashertroth, Carnaim, and Shava Kiriathaim. So right in that area, and it was wicked there, it just, these things are coming back though. And are they already here? Have some of them been able to come out, been released before? In chapter 15, 18:21, they were enumerated and named among the Canaanite people, Canites, and the Kezanites, and the Kadamites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephaims, and the Amorites, and the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. The Jebusites founded Jerusalem. And that is why God said that Jerusalem was an unclean birth. So when David came in, he got all those out of there, and then the land was cleansed. So it goes in, so you can read about this in Genesis 15, 19, 21, and compare Exodus 3, 8, 7, 17, 23, 23, Deuteronomy 7, 20, and 17, Joshua 12, 8. These were to be cut off and driven out and utterly destroyed in Deuteronomy 20:17 and Joshua 3:10. But Israel failed in this. Joshua 13:13, 15:63, 16:10, and 17:18. Judges 1:19, 20, 28, 29, 30, 36, and Judges in 2, 1 through 5, 3, 1 through 7. And we know not how many got away to other countries to escape the general destruction. If this were recognized, it would go far to solve many problems connected with anthropology. You know, I mean, you get like in some of these like African nations where they do the flattening of the forehead, but I think that they were trying to emulate these giant types that had the long skulls. And even in Egypt, I mean, these stones and things like that could have helped to build all those structures and so quickly. As to their other names, they were called Anakim, from one Anak, which came of the Nephilim, Numbers 13:23, and Raphim from Rapha, another notable one among them. From Deuteronomy 2:10, they were known by some as Emin and Horim and Zamzumium and Avim. As Raphim, they were well known and are often mentioned, but unfortunately, instead of this, their proper name being preserved, it is variously translated as dead. So, deceased or giants. So when you see those in there, then you know that these were the giants. These Raphim are to have no resurrection. And we read when we went into Enoch that they don't. You know, whether you want to believe Enoch or not, this also states, the Bible states they don't. This fact is stated in Isaiah 26:14, where the proper name is rendered deceased, and in verse 19, where it is rendered the dead. It is rendered dead 7 times in Job 26:5, Psalms 88:10, Proverbs 2:18, 9:18, 21:16, Isaiah 14:8, and 26:19. It is rendered deceased in Isaiah 26:14. It is retained as a proper name, Raphim, 10 times, 2 being in the margin, Genesis 14:5, 15:20, Joshua 12:15, and the same in 2 Samuel 5:18, 22, and then 23:13, 1 Chronicles 2 15, 14, 9, 24, and Isaiah 17:5. In all other places it is rendered giants. Genesis 6:4, Numbers 23:33, where it is Nephilim, and Job 16:14, where it is Geber. By reading all these passages, the Bible student may know all that can be known about these beings. It is certain that the second eruption took place before Genesis 14, for there the Raphim were mixed up with the 5 nations or peoples, which included Sodom and Gomorrah, and were defeated by the 4 kings under Chedorlaomer. These principal loyalty was evidently Ashtaroth, Carnaim, where the Emim were in the plain of Carithium. So they basically wanted to lay hold to that land before Israel came in to make it harder for them to get established into it. But see, they knew the plan. They knew Abraham's seed, and they also knew that that was the land of Israel, that they would eventually take that over. Anak was a noted descendant of the Nephilim, and Rapha was another, giving their names respectively to different clans. Anak's father was Arba, the original builder of Hebron, Genesis 35:26, Joshua 15:13, and 21:11. And this Palestine branch of Anakim was not called Arbaim after him, but Anakim after Anak. They were great, mighty, and tall. In Deuteronomy 2:10, 11, 21, 23, 22, 23, and 9. Evidently inspiring the 10 spies with great fear in Numbers 13:33, Og, king of Bashan, is described in Deuteronomy 3:11. Their strength is seen in the giant cities of Bashan today, and we know not how far they may have been utilized by Egypt in the construction of the buildings, which is still an unsolved problem. Arba was rebuilt by Kabiri or Confederates 7 years before Zone was built by Egyptian pharaohs of the 19th dynasty. If these Nephilim and their branch of Rephaim were associated with Egypt, we have an explanation of the problem which has for ages perplexed all engineers as to how those huge stones and monuments were brought together. Why not in Egypt as well, in the giant cities of Bashan, which exist as such to this day? I mean, they were built, and you know those stones, they're so precisely fit together, you can't stick anything in there. So something with intelligence and strength had to put those things together. Moreover, we have in these mighty men, the men of renown, the explanation of the origin of the Greek mythology. That mythology was no mere invention of the human brain, but it grew out of the traditions and memories and legends of the doings of that mighty race of beings, and was gradually evolved out of the heroes of Genesis 6:4. The fact that they were supernatural in their origin formed an easy step to their being regarded as the demigods of Greek. And as you think about it, and you do your own kind of little studies and read about it, it's amazing that they were here. I mean, why is this not taught in our schools and stuff, Thus, the Babylonian creation tablets, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Greek mythology, and the heathen cosmologies, which by some are set on an equality with Scripture, or by others adduced in support of it, are all the corruptions and perversion of the primitive truth, distorted in proportion as their origin was forgotten and their memories faded away. So it makes you think there's a lot, to really dig in deep and go to those scriptures. And Joshua is all about it. It's all the Kenites, he's getting, the Kenites were in there with the Canaanites, with all those 5 nations and stuff, and that was going to get destroyed. And so they left, and they went over to Joshua and just like, hey, we're these very tired, we've been traveling for months, You know, here's our moldy bread kind of thing, and tricked him. These things are sticky. Very awesome. Yeah, there's no Nephilim out there, no doubt. There has to be something. But what book is she reading? Oh, this is the, yeah. She got it. I was in preschool. I was riding the bus and we were crossing the bridge in our town by Ohio River. I saw a giant walk in the river. Oh my gosh, it faded on me. The river was about thigh high on this giant. Wow, what did it look like? Was it like all scraggly and stuff like that? There was an instance over in Iraq, Iran, you know, in Afghanistan area, where there was this giant that was in this cave, and they sent these special forces in to capture it because it was eating people and, you know, causing a lot of trouble. So they went to get it. But this thing, you'd think that they were really slow and stuff, but fast and strong. Somehow they were able to get it, but it was like people died in it, and this giant was huge. You can, I think it was on Art Bell that had interviewed this guy, but he was one of the soldiers, and they were trying to load this giant, and it had this red hair, and just they were just like looking at it like, what is this? But they took it out, and then nobody was supposed to talk about it. But you see, I think more and more people, they cannot keep this a secret anymore. And the times that we're in now, if that all just sprung on us like right now, I think people would be like finally and relieved, you know, like, you know, but upset because, you know, being lied to for so long. I mean, that might even disrupt the government itself. Maybe they would be like, well, the people don't trust us anymore and demand a better government. But this is a worldwide thing. And I mean, there's bones found in Ohio and all over the place, you know? So, you know, what was the time of Noah like? I mean, was it all one round? I mean, were there oceans there, or was there just that firmament, and then all the continents, you know, were together as one? And then, you know, this could have happened in the Catable, or it could have happened in the time of Noah, where everything just split. You know, you get your own continents, and you get, you know, your own countries, and dividing up. I mean, how else would you find, you know, dinosaur bones over in Alaska, you know, things like that? I mean, there's so much to think about, but, you know, kind of, we've been really held back. Let's see, he was creepy looking, but for some reason I was afraid, and as young as I was afraid of my own shadow. Wow. They do get shots of these giants. I mean, like people just standing in the street, and this big giant guy just walks on by. People are taking snapshots out of him, and like, is this photoshopped or is this real? And there's a lot of instances out there. Let's see. And that would have been scary, being so young, seeing that. Oh gosh. Let's see. Giants instantly turned to stone from crossing planetary objects, possibly. Yeah, there's this, Mud Fossil University. He was saying that there was like a type of weapon that they used. It was like if you looked at this certain thing, then people would just instantly turn to stone, and they took those into battle. I mean, maybe they had that sort of weapon. I mean, at the time of Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot's wife looked back and turned into stone. So there's a lot of technology out there that, is just crazy. We don't, I mean, they have like the remote neural monitoring to try and remotely understand your brain and to manipulate you. They have this thing called the voice of God that they've used in like Afghanistan and places like that for them to just lay down their guns and come out. That voice of God, it was like Allah telling them, lay down your guns and surrender. So these things, they're here. And they're using them on people too. I mean, like crowd control and things like that. They have those frequencies that they give out that hurts. I mean, like your ears, and just you have to get away from it. These silent, direct energy weapons. They call them DEWs, and I don't know. Earth is more of a place of destruction than anything. Oh, them kids couldn't get in? That's too bad. I don't know. See and understand little English. Well, maybe later on you can get that. Oh, from Brazil. I don't know. Maybe you can get the transcript for it in Brazil. Yeah. Somewhere in Genesis. Not sure, but possibly Pompeii looks similar to 70 AD. Or was Jesus the last pure blood? I don't know. But it's interesting that you can get your own genetic makeup, just, order it, and just take the test, and they send back where, you originated as far as the tribes and things like that. And there's just so much, that we just don't know. And I would just love to just be able to just see it, to know it, you know what I mean? I mean, it would have looked so cool, but weird to be in the land of giants, it's like, I mean, here Enoch, he was preaching against that. Noah was preaching against it, but he was getting ready for the flood. I mean, let's see. I've never forgotten, and I just assume it wasn't scary because my child mind couldn't fully grasp what I saw. They say small kids still see in spiritual. Yeah, I believe that. The kids just aren't yet ruined, you know what I mean? They're innocent, and they just see things for what they are, Like if if there's a bad man, he's gonna say bad man, Might be embarrassing. Or if there's like a really overweight lady or man, they're gonna go, and totally embarrass you. But kids say the darndest things. Yes, Melancholy. That is a very good one. I love that movie. I think it is on Prime now, or maybe Hulu. Catabol is Katabol. Catabol. The smart ones are underground, probably area. Yeah. I mean, I think they would be part of that locust army. I think that's what all the breeding thing and abducting people, just trying to gather their army together. And then with the fallen angels here, and that is just going to look so crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and read, let's see. I did not finish chapter 6 yesterday. I think I left off at verse 8. So, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. So, down to verse 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. So, he was perfect in his pedigree, and he and his family had not mixed with the fallen angels, and it was preserved all the way up there, but the rest of the world was all involved in that. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt, going back to Genesis 11 through 13. Going back up to the first part of chapter 6. The earth was also corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence, and they were eating people, cannibalism. In Enoch, these taught them all sorts of charms and just different types of religions and idol worship, which started with Enos, but abortions and things like that, that is completely wicked. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Verse 14. And make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms thou shalt make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. So, there's like lots of sightings and things like that. There's like other boats that were built like this, which is kind of strange. Sightings of the ark. Was it this ark, or was it something that was made after, kind of for the seas? And I don't know, but this was a very unique boat. Can't remember. It was like over in Turkey, and I think they have all that closed down now. You can't see it go up there, but that they brought wood down from there, and it was gopher wood. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make of it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above. It had like a little portal up there, probably to be able to see out. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof, with lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make. So it's like 3 stories, and probably on the top is where they were, where they stayed, their family. And behold, I do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. And he's like, But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee, and of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female, of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind, 2 of every sort shall come unto thee to keep them alive. And take you unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. Thus did Noah, according to all that God commanded him, so he did. Let's see, with this flood, over here on the other side of the Companion Bible, it says, this is on verse 17, it says, and behold, I am even, I do bring a flood of waters to destroy the earth. And it says here, a flood limited to this account of the deluge. And so Psalms 29:10, which therefore refers to it, the Babylonian tablets of the Epic of Gilgamesh are the traditional accounts of permanent truth corrupted in transmission. The inspired account here corrects the imaginary accretions which had gathered around it. So everything that breathed air, so the fish, the birds, just, and every one of these evil giants. So they were destroyed, but then they heard, oh, and that's why I'm telling you, if you don't want Satan to know something, don't talk about it, Keep it within yourself so that, he can't read your mind. You can just, stay on top of it by just silently talking to God about it. So we're almost at an hour. I know that one that was a weird study, but there's just so much in that, you can go back and look at and really go deeper into it. All the Gilgashemites and all of them. Let's see. Bye, O Yeller. Thanks for coming in. Let's see. Melancholy is melancholia is really good because if you haven't seen the movie, it's about the destruction of Earth and this coming celestial object that is coming in. And it's just about people, how they take the news, what they do. And it's a very slow kind of movie, but you get just a lot of the emotions and how you would feel with that. What would you do with your last days on Earth kind of thing. And I really liked it. Let's see. That's right, they do know. The Pope himself is going to announce this celestial object. So they've been watching it for a very long time. They know. Yeah. God, perfect alignment, but Satan does copy, maybe a weapon as well. Yeah. So, it's just going to look weird with the things that are coming. The RH factor is somehow related, in my opinion. Yeah, You know, the DNA has to be different too. I mean, there has to be something different. You know, I mean, they're built, their structure is different, you know. I mean, there is this disease called giantism, but within giantism, you have a lot of health problems with it, and, you know, they're usually somehow deformed and have problems walking. These giants are like battle giants, you know, like Og in the Bible. I mean, he's just like, I think his bed off the top was like 14 feet long. And I know, like in Ireland and things like that, that's how all these children's stories came up, Jack and the Beanstalk and things like that. So, how long were they there when they first started settling over there? I don't know. It's a lot to look at. Let's see. That is too bad the M Kids couldn't come in here. He sounded like he was very interested too. He or she, I don't know which one, but so tomorrow we're just gonna really get in deep again, reading chapter by chapter and verse by verse, and kind of going over the set as the timeline and really focusing on that, as to how it compares to these end times and what, you know, what could be a fit. And I think this is where the 5 months came from in Revelation chapter 9, the time of the locust, and the 5 months, you know, in Noah's time, that those months of raining and pouring down. But this time it's going to be that deception, which people, you know, they'll be wading in this deception or drowning in it. Okay, I want to thank Stacy for being our moderator. Yesterday was kind of a weird situation where we had these foreigners come in that just asked some really weird questions, and I had forgot to add her, and I'm like, is Stacy gonna do something about this? And I like, she's not a moderator, so she's in here to watch over for us. I have fossils, probably foot skin, and possibly a heart slice, about 4 foot wide. Wow. Yeah. Mud Fossil University is really like this really cool channel. It is just, you know, you have to use discernment and things like that. But what about the first Earth Age? I mean, we're all in spiritual bodies, but these animals were all flesh. You know, I mean, and how big was Earth? I mean, was it bigger? Was it smaller? You know, with the water coming down, kind of engorging it, and being able to the continent sliding apart and things like that. Hi, Roxanne. Atlantis too. Atlantis is, you know, they had a lot of technology and stuff. I think that was more of where Satan set up. I mean, I don't know for sure, but in a lot of these lost books and stuff like that, it talks about it. Yeah, in the first Earth Age, you know. And, you know, digging up all this stuff, you know, they get that information. They keep it for themselves and use it as weapons, where it could be something used for good. Like Tesla. It is said that he basically talked to beings that told him all this stuff. you know. And he was trying to use that information so everybody could have free electricity. But then you get evil Kenites coming in and taking over. Ooh, I can make money. Oh, I can oppress people. Ooh. So yeah, it'll be nice when Christ returns, because we're not going to have to deal with these Kenites anymore and just evil people, you know, trying to take over. That just, it gets wearing. And, you know, as time goes on now, you're just going to see more of that. And it's going to be hard to hold your tongue, you know, like, especially when Satan does get here and you get people saying, oh, aren't you glad Christ is here? And you're just like, yeah, yeah, sure. Later on, they see you, oh, you got captured, you did a horrible thing. Why are you captured and put into prison, you horrible person, you know, big things like that. But it's only up to 10 days. After that, we're all good. And I have trouble holding my tongue sometimes. I may be early. Yeah, just kind of gotta wait. That's gonna be my problem, I know. And then just wanting to give it to Satan. Like, how could you do all that kind of stuff? Because by then I'm gonna be so angry and tired and cranky. It's just like, I am so tired of this, you know? Just the way he operates today through people and things like that. And through these fallen angels, are they coming down already? Yeah, it's up to a 10-day tribulation, a personal 10-day tribulation. There is the five, or the tribulation of Satan, and that's for everybody, but for you personally, only up to a 10-day tribulation, which is Jacob's trouble. So you could be like captured, delivered up all in one day and get to leave. Or that full 10 days. Be like, whatever is in store. Yep. Okay, guys, so I will put the links in for the appendix and for that article that I read. And I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel, and we'll just be going on with the rest of it. So, talk to you later, guys. God bless. Have a great evening.